that 42-41 game was a game in itself. I mean,
Yeah.
for the most part, TCU was playing ahead in their game, but that game for Georgia, I mean, they held their breath to the very end. Some would say that would take a
Mhm.
lot out of a team. These guys have been here; they are champions. We know that. What do you think about this one? Who do you think is coming out with it? What's going to be a place that we need to look at?
See, and that game could be demoralizing for Georgia, but it could also be a huge confidence boost for
Very true.
Georgia.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
to me, I'm looking at one key matchup here. It's that TCU offense versus that Georgia defense.
Yes.
Can that offensive line that's a bit smaller but very athletic, can they hold off Jalen Carter and the rest of that front seven? Can Quentin Johnston and some of these other receivers take advantage of that secondary the way Ohio State did? What's the health of Kendre Miller, that running back? And if he's out, can DeMercado take over and do what he did against us too? So there's a lot to look at there. And can TCU's defense hold up like they did? I mean, hold up. Yeah. They gave up 45 points or whatever it was, but I mean, they've got the speed to try and at least keep up with a Brock Bowers and McConkey and the weapons there. I can't think of his first name, but Smith, Arian Smith. I just looked him up on there. Like, you've got the speed to make it an interesting matchup. That being said, I'm leaning Georgia, but TCU covers that spread. I can't remember what it's at right now, but they cover that spread. It's 12.5 points as of now. I think that. Georgia I got Georgia by 10.
Oh yeah. I can see it. I agree with you. I agree with your latter point that it is going to be the offense of Georgia with the Brock Bowers, with McConkey, with Mitchell, with some of these guys, Stetson Bennett. We praise these guys all year long. It's going to be that offense against TCU's defense. Now we know TCU benefited from those 2 early pick sixes, and they didn't have to play from behind. But if you take that out, they lost the second. What's it called? They only won the second quarter, like 7-6. You know what I mean? The third quarter they lost 24-20. You know what I mean? So if you start going by quarters, TCU struggled. Now we know Georgia is going to run the ball. They're going to run it with that committee. You got McIntosh, you got Edwards, you got Milton. These guys each of these guys averaged in that last game over 7 yards a carry. Okay? Yep. If you have these guys gashing you, that's going to open up Bowers coming out of the flat or going up the seam. That's going to open up McConkey and some of these other wide receivers for Georgia. So if TCU cannot stop the run, Georgia, Stetson Bennett, I think he's going to have a field day. I absolutely do.
Now with that, TCU, at least with us, they attacked the run hard. They brought safeties down hard. Linebackers attacked. So that's why McCarthy was able to attack later, is because it leaves your deep passing game susceptible. So with Arian Smith, with Bowers, with McConkey, get these guys down the field, run play action.
Yes.
Get Stetson moving if you're Georgia. And just you can pick TCU apart down the field. They're very grabby on the outside with Hodges Tomlinson and them. They will get a lot of defensive holding and pass interference.
Yes.
So attack them down the field. Beat them up with the run early, and then run your play action, take your deep shots.
Right.
Do what we did, just don't spot them 14 points early.
Right. But hey, we saw Georgia spotted Ohio State double-digit points, and they were still able to come back.
Yeah.
So that's going to be it. And like you said, the defense of the offense of TCU, Max Duggan. Let's see how tough he is, because if there's anybody out there that we can say has the toughness of a Stetson Bennett, it's Max Duggan. And he put that was fully on display against you guys. I'm gonna go out the woodworks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Anthony, you might not talk to me, especially if this comes to fruition. And I'm gonna go ahead and give myself a little bit of this. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. TCU completes the impossible.
Wow.
Gets the job done. 35 32.
That make me crazy.
I don't think it does.
There it is.
I don't think it makes crazy.
Yo, coming into last week, I would have been like, dude, what are you smoking? But TCU proved something to me because I honestly, not to mention everybody had really picked against them, but TCU truly embodies that it's us against the world. Nobody thinks we should be here. Alex said it. This is how the whole world thinks. SEC is better than the Big 12. Nobody is considering the Big 12 and everything. They showed what they had to do against Big 10. This is a Georgia team that, let's be very honest, can be susceptible. Can be susceptible to being thrown against. Can be susceptible to getting gashed. And if you have a live defense that gets up on some turnovers, watch out. Watch out.
I know Stetson's already won one, but this is one where I love either quarterback getting this championship here.
Absolutely.
What they in their stories and just the year Duggan's had, if he can walk away with one, man, even if you take the last 3 games, that Big 12 championship game where he's literally pushing people off him because he's exhausted and he's bleeding and he's like just willing that team to even have a shot. And then what he did against us, and then if he can pull this game off too, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it is the truth. Like you said, for sure, Sean Duggan is a beast. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Kat said no hate. I do want them to win, Sean. Scott, that's what most people are thinking. Georgia 51, TCU 37.
Don't count them horned frogs out. I did. We're not playing because of it.
All right. We'll see. He said no fears them as a conference. No one fears them. Yeah, absolutely. But and that's another thing. And it's kind of this is you definitely have to fear this team, in my opinion. But I think this is the kind of year that lends to smashing all of those preconceived notions. You think about how people came into not even this year, last year. I'm gonna be honest with you. We can go back to the videotape, Handy. I don't mean to call you out, but Handy and a lot of other people, not just him, were sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, that coach at Ann Arbor, Michigan, what are they gonna do?" These teams have built up, and they're really starting to kind of kill all the old norms. And with the Big Ten getting 2 teams like we talked about, and 3 in the top 10, that is something that's a blast from kind of the past. But then TCU being in this spot, this is lending to the fact that you have players coming here, you have coaches coming here, and you have guys that are playing above their weight, if you will. And I just think TCU, this is almost similar to the Stetson Bennett story. Stetson was the backup. He was the walk-on. He came on. He had to be the gutsiest quarterback and grit his way through, losing in the SEC championship game, only to win the next 2. And then now he's, putting his hand up to the ear and all that and dropping mics and whatnot. So this is the game that I hate to say this because I did want to see Michigan, but this is kind of the game you wanted to see because you want to see if TCU is for real. And then you also want to see if Georgia is just that team. They're just the best. So
what you said? Yeah, TCU, you got a score?
I got 35. I got 35-32.
Wow.
I say they do hit the field goal late. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Maryland damn sure doesn't fear anyone. Just bring it. You don't want my Tar Heels. Where's my Tar Heel stuff? I'm not at home, Nate. But if I was, there would be some Tar Heel stuff in front of you, buddy.
Well, I mean, we were talking about TCU there and that Big 12 and what they're doing. I mean, look at you guys, like the ACC conference. You guys are right up at the top again. NC State was a very good team. Florida State is bringing it. They are there.
Yeah.
Pac-12, we got Oregon State, USC, UCLA, Utah, Washington. Like a lot of these conferences are getting their teams back. It's great to see.
Absolutely. And look, let me do this right now. Let's kill this narrative. I understand it, and you might even agree with it, Alex. But there's the narrative, SEC, it just means more. All the lower tier teams in the SEC could beat the top tier teams elsewhere. That's baloney. Okay. You take Alabama out of the SEC, and the SEC is kind of on par with everybody else. Yes, they've been in there a little bit more because they've had to overcome just a titan in Alabama. But you just mentioned it, the Pac-12. You guys are not going away. Penn State, we know Clifford, who's been there since 1800s, is finally, going to the league. But they got a 5-star
quarterback.
Exactly. You talked about the 2 freshman running backs they had. So these teams are starting to come out. Right. These teams are starting to come out the woodwork and really starting to play. And they're really challenging the norms. They're really challenging this norm that, this conference is just all of a sudden better than everybody and nobody can even touch them. And these top tier teams are that any given day, soon as the whistle goes, let's play the game. But it's also schemes. It's also speed. It's also, players, matchups. Quentin Johnson, I don't know how we haven't talked about this guy, absolutely has a day for TCU against you guys. That's going to be, this guy, I'm not saying he's a Marvin Harrison Jr., but he's an Emeka Ibuka. He's a guy that could play big name ball. And with
he's
that,
number one receiver on most college football teams.
Right. Then you got DeMarcado, who came in when Miller got hurt and did only, 17 carries, 150 yards and a touchdown. You know what I mean? So you have pieces to the puzzle and you have players. If anything, this year has taught us the transfer portal is alive and it's working and teams are coming together. Like you said, just like the big 3 with the Miami Heat, where they're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm coming here. You want to play here? Sure. What are you doing? You want to come here? Boom. Now we're all over in this one school and just making things happen. So we'll see. It's going to be a great game, or at least I hope for a great game. The only thing I do not want is a blowout. I don't want a blowout at all.
No.
Either way. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm hoping for the best.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.